Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jay Gullo. I'm the city attorney for Taneytown, and it's good to see you all. Mr. Chairman, I know that you have a quorum already, and I think Mr. Ott is going to be joining us, so you'll have another member hopefully coming in. And good to see my familiar faces, and to the new member, hello. You at least see me virtually at this point in time. We're going to have a lot of meetings maybe over the next couple months with the elections, so you'll get to see me a lot. But Mr. Chairman, the agenda should be in front of you, and Clara is there to provide it if not. And I think your first order of business is to call everybody to order and deal with the minutes.
Meeting is called to order. The minutes of May 15th, 2024 at 2:30 p.m. The Taneytown Ethics Board met with members, Chairman Steve Marsalek, Richard Ott, Linda Canfield. Member Canfield was present virtually. Also present was Attorney Gullo, City Manager Whitebreck, and Clerk Coleman. Chairman Steve Marsalek called the meeting to order at 2:35 p.m. Motion to approve the minutes from the April 15, 2024 meeting by Marsalek, seconded by Ott, carried 3-0. Board members discussed a request for a waiver submitted by Kelly Butte. It was decided by unanimous consensus that the financial disclosure should be completed because the board member of concern to Mrs. Butte resigned from the Ethics Board and the requirements of the disclosure are minimal. All board members received a financial disclosure form digitally prior to the meeting for review. Board member Canfield submitted her concerns to Clerk Coleman via email. Board member Marsalek and Ott reviewed the forms and noted issues. Clerk Coleman was directed to contact individuals for corrections and advised the board when all corrections have been made. Attorney Gullo read a presiding officer's closing statement. The board adjourned to a closed session by a motion from Ott, seconded by Marsalek, carried 3-0. Respectfully submitted, Clara Coleman.
Great. If there's no objection to that, Mr. Chairman, I guess you can consider that adopted. Okay. So the plan for today, the things we need to accomplish, new business items. This is the annual review of the financial disclosure statements that are required to be filed under state and local law. And I know that Clara emailed all of us 632 pages worth of things to review, which I would imagine hopefully there's some in front of you as well, which comprise everyone's financial disclosure statement. So this is the time where this meeting where we're going to go through, make sure you are comfortable with what's on there. And if there's any changes that need to be made or additions, you'll instruct Clara and she will get the people to fix their forms. And then they will be filed away for anybody who wants to review them in the future. So that's the first item of business. The second item of business is to pull out our calendars and see about when we need to meet. This is the election season for Taneytown, and under Taneytown law, we have a campaign finance report due, just like in the state law, where the candidates, if they raise money and spend money, have to make certain disclosures, and there's a time period for each disclosure. And so those forms have to be reviewed by your board as well. And it's a pretty timely, tight timeline. It's like usually within a week or 2 weeks of these forms being filed. So Clara, to help her, we're going to pull our calendars out and kind of start with maybe when we can meet, and Clara can then start narrowing the time periods and the meeting rooms and things like that. And then the last thing we're going to do is deal with an item of old business. We're not going to talk too much about it in open session, and we won't go into closed session today, but we will talk about the pending ethics complaint that we had, and we talked about at the last closed session. And I'll give you a brief update at that time, and then we can determine how we want to proceed and whether we need a closed session at one of our future meetings. So with that, Clara, do you have any guidance about the financial disclosure statements? I know you reviewed them and gave some comments. So any thoughts of how you want them to proceed?
I have all of the original financial disclosure statements on the table right now. There's one missing because one member of the Parks and Recreation did not submit their financial disclosure form. But I have the originals on the table for all of you to look at. I have a yellow Post-it pad by each of your places there so that if you find something that you feel needs to be corrected, you can just mark that. And if you would state it out loud also so that I can make a list here of all the corrections that we need. I think that, and if you just, as the forms are approved by all of you, if you could just mark at the top, just initial in the top right corner, that would be great.
So last time what we did is I looked at mine and then passed it along.
Yes,
That's what
exactly.
Okay.
If you could do the same thing,
Okay.
that would be great.
Great.
So that way, at the end, we have all of your initials on all of the forms.
If anyone looked at them in advance, if you want to jump right to any deficiencies or questions that you may have had on a specific form, that may
Go.
Ready to go, whenever you're ready.
Question. And I mean, it's been some time since we did this, so this one question's always bothered me. Is the interest held directly by you, or is it attributable to you? What does that mean?
let me pop up on the screen here. So attributable is in the definition section of each form on page 2. And it says attributable interest means any interest held by a member of your immediate family if the interest was at the time during the reporting period directly or controlled by you, an interest in a business entity held of 15% or greater, an interest in a trust or in an estate at any time during the period you held a reversionary interest or the beneficiary or the settler of.
Property, husband and wife. Is it direct?
Yeah, I think if it's like jointly held, husband and wife, it would be a direct interest. Because immediate family includes your spouse and dependents. So if the property was held just by your spouse, that would be disclosed as immediate family. If it was jointly held, that would be a direct interest.
I have a question on, I'm looking at the mayor's, under Schedule F, it says officers, directorships, salaried employment, or similar interests of an entity that did business with the city. During the reporting period, did you or any member of your immediate family have any salaried employment or hold any office or directorship with an entity that did business with the city? He said no. Or isn't he doing salaried employee? So he should have answered yes. I've marked it.
Right.
I'll put that on my list.
Okay.
Employment is with the city, is that the place to?
Did you or any member of your immediate family have any salaried
Oh, okay.
employment
Sorry, yes, you are
or
right.
hold
Yes.
any office or directorship with an entity that did business with the city?
Mm-hmm.
That's a little tricky. It's worded funny. Okay. Just want to be sure. Center stage. That's so funny. I'm like, Solomon's Island? Chef? Sick. Oh,
Mercifully, only 2 jobs this year. After page after
Right.
page of restaurant that they've worked at.
yeah.
So,
Oh, that's fantastic. She's good people.
glad to hear that.
I help a group down there called Farming for Hunger, and Gwen's always helpful when we do a Taste of the Farm. She's always there with food and very generous to the community, so that's cool.
I haven't met her yet.
Yeah. That was her family's place.
Or I have a little bit of the history, but yeah.
Tossed a cigarette. Took out their place and the Lighthouse Inn next door.
Oof. Yeah, both of us.
That odd is really a mover.
That's what I knew what to look for.
All 632 pages.
you want some more?
Yep.
Question back to you. Any others over there? Oh, I'll put them over here. Okay. get, I just feel like it's, but I mean, you feel it coming on, but there's not a darn thing you can do about it. My mom's like, "Did you forget it when you're driving?" I'm like, "Well, I know to pull over." Mostly I get it when I'm walking the dog. I mean, one time I literally just laid down on the path. I'm like, I won't get home. I gotta lay down for a minute. My neighbor saw me and came to help me. And the doctor says there's nothing you can do for it.
No, I don't think there is.
My daughter gets migraine, they give her some kind of a shot once a month,
Oh, okay.
whatever it is, I don't know what it is.
I used to have something that my doctor prescribed to me, and then I realized that I can get Excedrin migraine over the counter, and it's very effective. So I've been using that for the past several years.
I'll have to tell her about that, because that stuff's like thousands of euro expensive for her.
Yeah, and I only take the Excedrin migraine, and that usually does the trick, unless it's really bad, which, normally one is enough.
Sorry, guys.
Lawyers and accountants, Steve,
A quick reminder to everybody, when you wrap up the review of the forms, if you can make sure your microphones are only about 7 or 8 inches from you. So otherwise, people that might be watching the video can't hear you. So. But if we can avoid complaints about the audio, let's shoot for that.
so they can be bored for 3 hours.
Probably isn't the most exciting meeting to watch, but we've been trying to live stream and put on YouTube all of our boards and commissions, so. Yeah. It still happens. We're still not accessible or open, so, according to some folks, so.
Praise God, it's the last one. I would request to be excused. I have to be in Baltimore for an appointment. Problem.
So Clara, are we done? Did the chairman just kind of come and eat and leave? That would be very bad if it were a dinner.
I have no parting gift either.
I guess so. All right. So you made
Drive
notes
safe.
of everything, right? Clara, you'll be able to take the Post-it notes and do all the things that need to be done with that? So that leaves me with two open items then. Well, one open item for this. We have a individual who did not file their return, their report. Clara, who is that? Can nobody hear me?
Hear you.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, that's me. My microphone wasn't close to
Oh,
my mouth.
Okay.
Emmanuel Harvey from the Parks and Rec Advisory Board did not submit a form. Parks and Rec Director Vicaire and I both sent several reminders, but he did not respond.
So this happens occasionally, and the question to the board is, what do you want to do about it? Here are your menu of options. I guess one, you could do nothing about it. Two, we have done in the past where a letter comes from you all. Clara writes it, of course, but it's in your name and basically gives a time period for this person to respond. And if they don't, then there is a what if, and the what if has a couple options. The what if you could, under our code, you could fine the person. The fines are $2 per day for every day late, up to $250. So Clara, these were due what, a month ago?
January 31st, I believe, was the due date.
Okay. So it would be something like 30 days plus. So it could be like up to a $60 fine at this point in time. Um, there is really no option for you to tell them they have to resign. That would be the next level where we would have to do something. Typically, that's what people threaten. They say, "Well, I'm not going to do this if I have to do these things." As you noted from all the forms you just went through, those are all retrospective, meaning they're all for last year, right? So they should have filled these out regardless of whether they continue to serve. But Clara and the staff have tried, and so it needs to be a little bit higher level seriousness. So what do you guys want to do?
Send him a letter from the Ethics Commission that he's gonna have.
And, yeah, and lay out what the penalty is for not submitting it.
Okay. How many days do you want to give him?
Is it a new member, or is it a,
No, he's not new.
so this person has complied in the past?
There's something, is he not responding to any reach out to him?
He has not responded to me or Lorena Vicara. We've sent several reminders.
Was that email or mail?
Phone calls, I believe. For me, I've contacted him only through email.
Does he
We've
still
even
come to
gone
the
so
rec
far-
meeting?
I'm sorry, Jay.
Does he still come to the rec meetings?
I'm not
Does
sure
he-
that he does. I think there's some uncertainty whether or not he wants to continue.
Well, this will bring it to a head at least.
Yeah,
So how many days? If Clara writes the letter tomorrow, that's basically March 1st by the time, 2nd, 3rd by the time it goes out. What do you think? 10 days?
10 days, 'cause
yeah,
that's
I
more.
think, yeah.
Okay. So Clara, you can figure that out. It's the 2nd week of March and pick a date that he has to have it in.
Okay.
And do we tell him if failure to do so, he'll be fined? Okay.
Yeah,
Fine, whichever.
And we'll send it in a way that we can either guarantee he gets it or hand deliver it or something. We'll make sure that it's not going to be a I never got it type of thing.
right, okay.
Okay. Clara, you got that?
I do.
Okay. One last piece of administrative business. I bet you the chairman walked out with the minutes, didn't he, Clara?
I have the minutes here.
Okay. So the vice chairman, I don't know who that is, but Mr. Ott, that's probably you because
It
you
is.
got some seniority, right? So what the chairman failed to do was read the record of closed minutes into the record. So basically, you only need to read the parts that are X'd or that are filled in. Maybe Clara, you could show him because he doesn't need to read the whole form. That doesn't apply. But we need to read that into the record.
The microphone nice and close.
Have a closed meeting. Better bring that back so Jay can hear me. We all vote, Mr. Marshallak, myself, Ms. Canfield, all voted to have the closed meeting, to consult with the council, to obtain legal advice reference to a complaint. Things that were discussed at that meeting were the role of council liaisons and outstanding contract with local businesses. Chairman, and myself, and Ms. Canfield were all present, either in person or virtually. Also present was City Attorney Gulo, City Manager Weeprecht, and Clerk Coleman. And there's going to be an investigation reference for more information, to approach the business owner for an explanation, and the motion to adjourn at 4:05 PM by Chairman Marshallak, seconded by myself, and was carried 3-0. Is that
Great. So I think we've met all the requirements on that. So the last item of new business is we need to talk about dates, and I'll let Clara do that so that we can all kind of look at it. Clara and I said we might not have to commit if you all can't commit to certain dates right now, because you may have to go check schedules at home and things, but we at least can come up with some general ideas. So Clara, why don't you walk through that?
Okay. Based on our chart for the reporting periods nomination forms, or the candidate forms, campaign finance forms, sorry. We have the close for the first report is March 24th, and we've already scheduled a date for that. We've scheduled for March 26th at 3:30 p.m. I think we've all already agreed on that date. And then we have two more. We have the second report, the closing date for that is April 20th. The third report, the closing date is April 28th, so I thought that maybe we could meet on April 23rd and April 30th. Those are both Wednesdays, and I thought perhaps we could meet at 1:30 if that works for everyone.
Wednesday's really tough for me to
Is
get
it?
out
Okay,
early.
well, let's change that then. Shall we do Thursday then? Maybe we could do, let's see,
Later,
maybe we could do Thursday, April 24th, and maybe Tuesday, the 29th?
I'm going to ask a dumb question. The only reason I say this is because I don't normally get off until 3:30, so I snuck out
Okay.
early today.
Well, would it be better for you then if we did later in the day?
Yeah,
like-
Wednesdays would be great, just later in the day.
Okay, like 4 o'clock?
3:34, I'm fine with that.
Okay, well, why don't we plan on 3:30 then? Can we do April 23rd and April 30th at 3:30? Does that work for everyone?
That would be to review the candidates.
The campaign finance
finance.
forms, yes.
That should work for me.
Okay, wonderful.
Sorry if I make it tough on everybody.
That's fine. My biggest problem has been, I'm helping watch my granddaughter. She starts daycare April 7th. Love her.
Are those dates okay for you, Robert? Does that work?
The 2 Wednesdays at 3:30?
Yes. Okay, wonderful. We have those dates set then, and I'll reach out to Chairman Marshall. I can make sure that he has those dates also.
Are you going to send a follow-up email?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Thank you.
Great. Those meetings shouldn't take anywhere close to what this is taking. I would think we're gonna, because we only have the candidates that are running for office and we go through their forms. And after we go through the first set of forms, the first meeting, it'll be very familiar what they have to have and don't. So figure a half hour and we really can be out of there. Okay, so that covers our new business. Our old business is related to what the closed session was about. As you recall, we received an ethics complaint, and that complaint came in 2023, in the fall of 2023. And nothing really happened to investigate that until our last meeting. So whenever that was, that the chairman had read the minute, or the vice chairman has. So we've been very lax on following up because it involved a little bit of an investigation. And that was what was instructed to be done at the closed session. And we did conduct an investigation. We asked the business owner. This ethics complaint involves the fact that a current sitting council person is alleged to not have paid the required benefit assessment fee when his business was created in town. And the benefit assessment fee is for connecting to the water and sewer. And that is evidenced in a public works agreement, a recorded document. And so the evidence that we went and dug up we dug up the PWA, the Public Works Agreement. It says that it was due. We talked to the business owner, and he said, well, he really never got a bill, and his water usage was less than what it was supposed to be, so he shouldn't have to pay it, although the agreement doesn't talk about any relief. It just says you must pay it. We took it before the city council several months ago to say, hey, this is the situation. Does anybody want to amend the Public Works Agreement? And the city council didn't say a word. I mean, not one word on it, not yes, no, or indifferent. They just sat there and basically did not want to take any action on that. So what we have is we have a situation where you all need to be brought up to speed on all the details. Obviously, I'm giving you the big general picture, but you need to understand the specific details. And if you believe that there is a violation, then we need to send a notice and allow the person who is accused to come and address you and have sort of a hearing on the matter. And that has not happened at this point in time. So my long and short of this is there's nothing we need to do today, but we should probably schedule a closed session for our meeting that Clara mentioned, which was the
26th,
Sure.
March 26th.
March 26th, right? And so if we could schedule that, you're going to come in anyway to review the candidate forms. Like I said, that should take maybe about 20 minutes because they're brand new to look at. But then we can adjourn to closed session where it'll just be us and it won't be taped and broadcast. And we can talk about the details and what has to happen. And the reason for all of this is it's a due process issue for the person accused. That person has never had the opportunity to address any of this. It's just been more of a due diligence to find out if I'll use the legal terms, but they don't apply here, like probable cause, to see if there's even something there. And I think at this point in time, there's something there that's going to be worth it looking into. And now a decision has to be made of how to deal with it. So if you're okay with that, Clara, maybe you can note that closed session on the next agenda at the termination of it.
Well,
And we will get you before that meeting all the paperwork that I just talked about and highlight where it is in the paperwork so you can understand what we're dealing with. And the result of that meeting would be for you all to tell us whether or not you feel you need to proceed. And I'll give you the procedure of how we proceed and go from there. So it will not be an adversarial hearing at that point in time.
Question.
Sure.
Are we following the same process that we would for a regular citizen who wasn't a city council person?
That's the allegation that we're not. Mhm. Okay, if that's good for everybody, then Claire, you'll make that schedule and you'll make a note that we need to get these documents for everybody. And what we should do for the staff, we should pull the old stuff out because I'm sure none of you kept all of this information and some of you have never gotten the information that it really started with. So let's just start with a brand new file of everything that we have and we'll all start with the same page then. So. Okay, are there any questions for us while you're here? Okay.
Jay, did we want to discuss the quarterly financial disclosure form?
Yeah, we did. I wanted to talk about that, and as we skipped right over it. The state law and the town law says that the people who have to file the forms have to do it every year. And those are the forms you just went through. And they're due, they go out in January and they're due at the end of January and they cover the prior year. At some point in time in the past 8 years, 10 years, it was thought by the town council and by the ethics commission that maybe there should be a quarterly update where somebody fills out a quarterly form saying nothing has changed. And that's not codified in our law, and that's not part of the state law. And what happens is these quarterly forms, they never happen. They go out, nobody sends them back. Sometimes we don't remember to send them out because it creates a tremendous amount of paperwork that would then need to be reviewed by you all 4 times a year. So the question to you all was, is that something you still want to continue to do, to require? If you do, we'll take care of it. But if you don't, we can make sure that happens as well. As I said, it's not anywhere in the code. So as personnel changes, people point to the code and say, well, I don't see where we have to do that. Claire, does that adequately express it?
I believe so.
What do you all think?
I never did see the point of it. I mean, if something major would change, I would think they would bring it up the following year when they fill out the paperwork, so.
Okay.
The stack of papers that has to be filed?
Well, I mean,
So that's just,
that's just more paper.
yeah,
that
yeah.
Times four. The issue that, I mean, and I get where you're going, and as the city manager said, kind of like while you were working, was that people feel like there's not open government and things like that. And so, we take abundant steps to make things open and abundant steps for people to do that. Since we have been doing this as a committee, all of those forms that you just reviewed are available for public inspection. And I can count on one hand the time somebody's even asked to look at them. So they really, more forms don't help us, because the more
Right.
forms aren't going to be looked at either. And those forms are one pagers that say nothing has changed, nothing has changed. So, and as you can see, we have to track down some of these people to fill out the forms they have to fill out. So unless, I guess I'm taking it by the consensus that you all don't see the need to do quarterly forms, and we'll note that in the minutes so that doesn't look like the staff fell down on the job. And if you ever change your mind, you can change your mind.
That's fair.
Okay. Clara, you got that?
I got it.
All right. Well, I will look forward to seeing you all at the end of the month, and we'll have a little bit more discussion rather than just looking at forms. We'll actually get to do some ethics work. So that'll be different for us.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well,
Motion to
Claire, is there
adjourn?
anything else? Jim, is there anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All
All in
right.
favor? Aye.
Great. Have a good evening, everyone.